I came to in a body. That was when I was born. My whole environment taught me how to take care of my body, so that I concluded early in life that my body was my entire self. My elders, my schools, the media, all of them centered their core messages on the upkeep and care of the body. So much so that for a very long time, I thought that the body was everything. When I got exposed to the writings of the wise women and men of higher learning, however, I got exposed to many ways of looking at the world, therefore leading me to think of the place of everything in a bigger and wider context. As I learned new things, I began to look at my personhood from a different perspective. It was then that I concluded that life is not simply the interlude between birth and death. As my vision widened, so did my worldview. My exposure to the great thinkers, they who were endowed with wisdom, led me to think more and more of the human person, that more than the physical, the human being has a soul. In fact, the human being is a soul. And this soul, having descended from a supreme soul, is but journeying in this material realm, and I, a soul, am gifted with powers that allow me to connect to the Supreme Soul, whom I have come from. Life, this phenomenon which I hold very dear, is the vehicle which will take me to the Supreme Soul when the time for me to be with Him is right. When will the time be right? My human understanding cannot say just when. The Supreme Understanding will know. In the meantime, I must continue in this journey that has been appointed to me. I know that I am a point of light roaming the vast expanses of the cosmos, the environment which is also being traversed by myriads of other points of light. Other souls that, like me, are seeking their place in the supreme dwelling meant for each of us. We, these other souls and I, will meet when our trajectories intersect. When our paths cross, we interact with one another. We are endowed with the faculties to relate. Just how we deal with this challenge will constitute the uniqueness that each of the other points of life deal with other people, the points of light that we meet on our respective paths. These are our relationships, and how we make out these relationships constitute the vast plane called living. We are all called to live. How we live is up to us. The adage is, life is what you make it. And that is another challenge to think of and work out. That will constitute our trip. To each soul, a journey. To everyone journeying, one destination. Our goal, union with the divine. A good trip to all of us. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
As I sit relaxed, I breathe in and fill my lungs a generous amount of oxygen. As I breathe out, I let go of the unwanted amount of carbon dioxide. Today, I revisit the journey of I, the soul, a sparkling point of light. It all started when I, the soul, a sparkling point of light in the world of silence, went down in earth during the time of happiness. Everything was perfect. There's no thought of emptiness. I became an actor, addressed as Royal Highness. As time went by, there was a decrease in the degree of happiness. Everyone started to lose one's greatness. Little by little, there's a feeling of emptiness. It eventually led to body consciousness. Self-confidence got lost. There's a feeling of self-pity. Body consciousness got deep. All that matters was physical beauty. Technology was at the top, became almighty authority. Dignity and divinity became history. In the whole world, greed ruled. Resources became limited. To a few they were bestowed. Poverty and chaos everywhere could be viewed. In different countries, peace became fragile. War ensued. Different calamities are happening everywhere. Flood here, earthquake there. Elements are protesting, trying to say something. Enough, it's time. It's time to change all wrongdoings. As the curtain draws, actors are sparkling. To the stars they are saluting. It's time to return where we came from in the beginning. To the world of silence is where we are going. Om Shanti.
Once upon a time, I, the soul, the being of light, live in my home, the home of all souls. My Father, the highest of all beings, also lives here. In the midst of peace and serenity, at some point a stirring happens within me. This stirring pushes me to come down to a wonderful new world to play my part. The new earth is beautiful and bountiful. I am new, like a fully loaded and supremely charged battery. I am also totally aware of my truth, of my true identity, a being of light energy. Time passes by. Since I am a soul within a physical body, I begin to change. My battery is no longer supremely charged, but I am still fully charged. As a new being on earth, I am still aware of my true form, a being of truth and a powerful soul. My body enjoys the full potential of a self-aware soul. I am full of love, peace, health and happiness. Then a shift begins. I forget myself, my true identity. I create many little false identities, little I's, possessions, talents, wealth, beauty, strength. I begin to identify myself with these I's, that these are components of my whole being. I become body conscious. The biggest evidence of this shift is I begin to experience sorrow. Comparison and competition became a common phenomenon. From being supremely charged to fully charged, I become a half-charged battery. My little I's become my complete identity. The world that I once came upon becomes divided. Different languages emerge. The idea of religion, such as Islam, Buddhism, and Christianity, grows and attempts to lessen the feelings of conflict and sadness. Yet sorrow and pain continue in the world. By this time, I totally forget my original identity. From being soul conscious, I am now totally body conscious. I lose my original qualities of peace, purity, power, wisdom, love, joy, and bliss. Instead, I now have lust, anger, greed, attachment, ego, carelessness and laziness. In fact, sorrow and peacelessness seem to increase. My transformation into a physical being is almost complete. My battery is almost completely drained. My true identity is crowded into a little corner by my little I's. Everything around me becomes corrupt, polluted, and degraded. In the midst of this chaos and immorality, God, our Father, the Supreme Being, comes to us. He reintroduces himself to us and tells us our story. In this way, he ultimately introduces us to ourselves, to our true, original selves. He tells us about the secrets of life, actions, relationships, fortune and misfortune, victory and defeat. He teaches us Raja Yoga. This connects us to him, the Supreme Being, our true power generator. We begin to recognize our true selves, the soul, a being of metaphysical light, very much like our Father, the Supreme Being, divine and complete. I awaken and rekindle my true characteristics, become fully charged once again, and return home. The world that I knew becomes renewed as I rest in the soul world, preparing myself to return to earth, ready to play my part once again.